Thank you for joining us for this episode of That Solo Life, the podcast for PR pros and marketers who work for themselves. People like me, Michelle Kane, and my wonderful co host, Karen Swim of Solo PR Pro. Hey, Karen, here we are. It's a beautiful day for podcasting.
Good morning, Michelle. It is a beautiful day for podcasting. It's not a
Yeah,
necessarily beautiful weather day, but it's a beautiful day. Every day is a good day to podcast.
that's right, exactly, especially when you're talking PR.
This is so true. My
And,
favorite topic.
oh, well, you found a really interesting study, I believe it was on PR News Online, about Generation Alpha,
Yes, yes,
which
yes.
is what? Ages 0 to 15, I believe. So
Yeah.
the youngsters are driving economic decisions of their families in eye-opening ways. So we're going to talk about that a little bit and what that means for us as communications practitioners and as we craft messaging for our audiences. It's good to know what the adults are thinking. And just to kick it off, apparently, uh, you know, 11% of parents out there think it's a-okay for their 0 to 15-year-old to weigh in on buying a car.
Yeah, there's some interesting findings in this, and this we will link to the
Yeah.
study in the show notes. It's from
Yes.
USC, my alma mater, go ye mighty Trojans, and ACC. And I found it interesting that, you expect Gen Alpha to maybe drive cultural trends, but
Sure.
they are really controlling the family's wallet with big ticket purchases like vacations, expensive things like cars, technology, which, obviously technology plays into so many facets of our life. So I
Yeah.
where I would have believed that this was mostly like a B2C thing, this can definitely affect B2B as well. And
Oh, for sure.
so young, and there are some things in the study that made me feel super old, of course, but also that it's a little disturbing how we're erasing older generations so rapidly. And it, but
Yeah.
for us communicators who participate, it really
Yeah.
kind of forces us to look at the communication tools that we're using, what this generation thinks is important, and making sure that
Right.
our messaging doesn't is not directed at them, because you can't stare directly at them or talk directly to them or they'll ignore you, but it is mirroring the things that are of interest, since their families are turning to them and asking their opinions on
Yeah.
purchases.
Yeah, I mean, that is definitely true. Like you say, it's not like we're telling everyone, "Okay, craft all your messaging to 14-year-olds." No, no. But one of the statistics was that 70% say they help their family keep up with new trends and cool things to try. That's a big number,
That is a big number.
So it's definitely something to keep in mind as you do your messaging. Um, clearly you still want to target the people with the wallets who can actually, make the transaction. Although, what was the number of some that put them on their credit cards as users? Gosh.
Yeah, so a big percentage of parents are actually adding their, Gen Alpha kids as authorized users on their credit card. So it, but I think the study also made an important point. Even as you
Yeah,
are thinking inclusively about this generation,
right.
you also don't want to make it kid branding, because that's a turn off,
Right.
and will age out of that very quickly. So I think
Yes.
balance is
Agree.
the key, not saying kid. And it advised that brands treat kids as influencers, not as, children. Um,
Right, right.
one of the things that I really did like, and I love that Gen Alpha is driving this trend, is that to Gen Alpha, it's not about fame, it's about content.
Mhm.
And the content hits, they're all in. Doesn't matter. So
Yep.
wherever their interests are, they're going to consume content by those people if the content resonates for them rather than
Yes.
if they're famous. They may follow some famous people, but they're more about what you're saying.
Yeah.
In this age, that is that's a key differentiator in my mind, and it's something for us to really be intentional about the content. You
So
know,
true.
we're getting, like trying to go viral, and I know that
Oh,
that's not communicators necessarily, but
right.
our client brands will sometimes have that. But it's not about the cool visuals or the over the top stuff, but really digging down, is this content going to resonate with our audience? Is it shareable? um, we're seeing the impacts of different generations, and the report kind of made note of
Yeah.
how each generation has influence. Millennials made mood boards, Gen Z, curated the aesthetics, and now we have Gen Alpha with the content and with curating experiences.
Yeah.
So
And
keeping those things in mind as we're communicating, is this not only good, solid content, but will it really resonate? Is it something that people will perceive as communication tailored to them? The term, came up of it should look like an FYP, a for you page. So it should feel personal.
mhm.
Are we doing that in our communications, or are we
Right?
too broad, too general that it doesn't really feel like it's for us?
Right. Right. I mean, really, what I really love about this is all comes back to it's a conversation. It's an interaction between me, the brand, and you, the potential consumer. And I am all for quality content winning the day. I mean, that's exciting because and I'm not saying this is true certainly for all influencers, but I I know people whose kids are like, "I want to be a YouTuber." It's like, uh, okay, that's fine, but I didn't hear you lead with, "I want to help people do X." It's just, "Oh, I see you can make money just doing stuff, so I'm going to do it." So I love that this generation coming up appears to be more interested in, well, what's useful to me? Which could very well be why they're informing all these decisions.
Yeah. And brands have to, as always, this has always been true. You really have to ensure that you're balancing out your audience. If your
Yes.
audience really is the parents, again, it doesn't mean that you're making a wholesale switch
Right.
to market to them, but you're keeping their interest in how they view things and their perspective in mind so that you're serving up things in a way that's meaningful to your audience, but
Yep.
your audience is turning to their kids
Yeah.
for validation, confirmation.
Yeah.
In the focus group that was part of the study, moms were saying that their kids would bring their attention to a brand that they didn't know
Mhm.
about, and
Yeah.
then they loved the brand so much that they started buying it for themselves. Or moms were taking makeup advice from their 12-year-old daughters. So it's a real thing,
It's
and
a thing.
we should be aware of it. And again, it doesn't mean that we should start talking in
No.
kid-friendly language. You
No.
don't wanna do that, but you
No.
do wanna think through. And I mean, it goes back to the whole, discipline of understanding that you have purchasers, reviewers, influencers, and analyzers as part of that purchasing decision. It
Yeah.
doesn't usually rest on one person. And so
Correct.
thinking about that entire cycle and making sure that our messaging is resonating not only with the end purchaser, but the users of those
Mhm.
purchases and those who influence that purchase.
Right. I mean, and the good news is in keeping this younger audience in mind, my goodness, you're establishing this consumer relationship with them
Yes.
far earlier, and just from a relationship building standpoint, that's a good thing. Not that you wanna commodify a tween's experience because, well, you don't like life you don't like to think of life like that, but, you know, I mean, oh my goodness, I guess I think back, we all had to have the Jordache jeans and things like that. So, some of it's not super new, but
Yeah.
I think the degree to which parents are like, "Oh, okay," as opposed to, "You're gonna get tough skins and like it."
Yeah, it's, you know, shout out to the parents who are under a lot of pressure because
Right.
that it's a tough spot to be in. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's we're in an I hope that Gen Alpha ushers back in an era of critical thinking
Oh,
and facts mattering. It
yes,
would be so great if we could bring that back in
it
where
would.
we have this generation that is a little bit more on their game because we need that.
Yeah, yeah.
um, it's interesting though to think about this generation coming up being so influential in purchase decisions and so influential on the wallet. Well, at the same time, we've reached this milestone of this next year, I believe, of students entering college is the biggest one, and then it drops off. The arrows go down for
Mm,
like the next 40 years.
interesting.
Um, yeah, so that is really interesting. Like, we have these influential kids coming up and they're going to be smaller in
Outnumbered.
number,
Yeah.
and it's going to impact the educational system because some of those schools may
Oh,
not survive, they may merge
right.
into others. So we're seeing like a lot of wholesale changes on the horizon.
Yeah, yeah, and, with challenges come innovation and,
True.
makes us all work smarter, so, I'll remain optimistic about it,
Sure.
and yeah.
Sure.
Was that convincing?
Mm,
No. No, it's true, though. I mean, hey, we have to adapt to the hands we're dealt, right?
we do.
And I think having this data is just an incredible way to, look ahead as we serve our current audiences. So, well, we hope this has been a valuable time for you, whether you're out taking a walk, taking a break from being behind the desk, or, out running errands. We hope this time is always worthwhile to you. Please hit us up at soloprpro.com. We do want to hear from you. We're at whatever platform you're listening on, and we're on all of them. Please leave a review. We would love that as well. And if there's something you want us to talk about, if there's a communications issue you're dealing with, please send it along to us. And until next time, thanks for listening to That Solo Life.